Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well. And welcome to the player ratings for Arsenal's 2-1 defeat at home to Wolves on Sunday night. And I have a guest with me. Wax, how are you, man?
Yeah, not too bad, pal. Man, thanks for having me. Big up everyone
No,
in the chat.
no problem, man. I'm surprised you're doing good. Like after a defeat like that, like how frustrating was it for you?
It was definitely frustrating yesterday, man. I kind of predicted it before the game. I thought when I see the center of the park, when I see Joe Willock, Ceballos, and Xhaka together, I thought, oh no, man, that's not going to work. And I just think altogether it was just poor. It was just totally poor from the players, man.
Yeah.
And I think to be honest, I think these guys they've lost faith in Arteta. I don't think they're believing in the setup. I don't think they're believing in the plan, man.
Yeah. Like at the start of the season, you've broken off a bit. At the start of the season, like after 10 games, where did you expect us to be after 10 games? Like top 5, top 6?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Top 4 after 10 games. Definitely top 4. The minimum I would say is like 6th or 5th.
Was that because we won the FA Cup or because we bought a few players? Was there a reason for us to have high expectations?
I have high expectations just because of who we are and who I see Arsenal to be. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think the players that we brought in, Gabriel and Thomas Partey, they added solidity to the middle of the park and to the spine of the team. Most importantly, we've been lacking that spine for quite some time, and I thought they brought that solidity to that. I expected Mesut Ozil to be involved in this team as well. And I think that's the missing link for us in terms of our creativity. He's the go-to man. He's the midfielder that's the link up man, and he links up the play for us. So at the moment he wasn't registered, I thought, oh, where's the creative? Who's going to be that guy for us? Who's going to be the guy that brings it from the bottom of the park and sets up chances, finds players, picks out passes? So I mean, it's been difficult, man. It's difficult. But my expectations, just to go back to your question, my expectations at the start of the season were to qualify for Champions League, to retain the FA Cup, and to potentially win the Europa League as well. But with the way we're playing, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, so I know what you're saying about Ozil, but we've seen our players missing so many chances. So even if Ozil was there, it doesn't mean that any chance he'll create for Saka, he'll score. Any chance that he'll create for Lacazette, he'll score. All those players have been missing sitters like the last 6 games in a row.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that confidence there, that stems from the coaching. That stems from the coaching, man. If they're not coaching them correctly, on the training grounds, how do you expect these guys to come out confidently and put chances away? Because that confidence, the confidence and the composure comes from the exercises that these guys would be working on. It would come from, the routines that they're being put through in training, especially the attackers. Because sometimes in training, you'll probably do group sessions, and within those group sessions, you'll probably split the attackers up, add maybe 1 or 2 midfielders to that fold, and you would do a separate attacking routine with these guys. And then you'll do something different with the defense, and at the end of that training session, you'll maybe have attack versus defense. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think they're even doing those type of routines. I think everything that Mikel Arteta is trying to teach them in training is more or less keep fit, keep in shape, and that's about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like defensive tactics most of the times. But yeah, let's get into the player ratings from yesterday. The first one is going to be Leno. What did you make of his performance?
Leno. I'll give Leno. He wasn't super bad. Well, I mean, what can you say, man? I'm gonna give Leno. I'm gonna give Leno a 4. To be honest, I'll give him a 4. Yeah.
Second goal.
I'm not gonna say a 5. I was gonna give him a 5 because there wasn't really much. The goals that they conceded. It was the what was the first goal? Was Pedro Neto?
Yeah.
Well, that was the first goal, Pedro Neto, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was the goal where he took it over Gabriel and pull it in?
That they headed the ball onto the post and then he scored the rebound. The second one is that one on screen right now where they like dribbled past Stroy in the middle and gave the ball to Neto, who shot the ball, and Leno actually saved it, but he left it. So was it his mistake, like not handling the ball well there?
Yeah, there was I think that was that the shot where he kind of parried it back out to in front of him, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna stick with giving Leno a 4, man. I think he could have done better, but the team's just dreadful. He's lacking confidence. The confidence, that's a big issue for Arsenal right now, man.
I think I'd kind of agree with that. He's saved us in a few games already this season, but for this one again, probably everyone was poor. And then let's go to the centre backs and to the right back. Sorry, Bellerin. I know most of you don't like him. I've always given him a chance, but I know most of you don't like him. So what did you give Bellerin?
Yesterday he
was poor.
He got torn up yesterday, man. I think Neto, he's such a brilliant player. You know, when you're talking about young players, because Neto's literally like just turned 20, I believe. So when you're looking at young players and you're talking about young players, and then all these Arsenal fans are like, oh, but we've got this one. No, that is what you call quality. Player of Neto's ability at his age, that is what you call quality. I'm telling you now. And he had Bellerin. He had Bellerin on his arse. I'm telling you. For me, I think Bellerin was absolutely poor. I'll give Bellerin a 2, man.
2. I think I'd kind of agree with that. He was very poor yesterday. Like every single game, he seems to have a foul throw. He was torn apart by Neto yesterday. By was it their left back or something? He was all over the place. There's a time in the 90th minute I was screaming, "Put in the cross!" Aubameyang is in the box. Lacazette is in the box, and then he just literally gives the pass back, and we lose the ball, and Traore is on to us again. So I think 2 is kind of.
I was going to say there was times yesterday where he went forward with the ball and he's passing it to opposition, and when the moment Wolves are getting the ball, they're moving it so quick that Bellerin hasn't even got enough time to turn around and run. They were beating him that way a lot of the time as well. So it's it's lapses in concentration. These guys have got poor decision making, and that was definitely Bellerin yesterday, man.
Do you think Niles should be starting ahead of him or Cedric?
100%, man. Even Cedric. Again, Cedric's not getting a look in because Mikel Arteta doesn't trust him. Mikel Arteta doesn't believe in him as well. I think it will be the same problem. The difference is with Cedric, he can't. I don't think he can. I don't think he's effective on the attack as much as Bellerin is. Do you know what I mean? See, when we're going forward and using those flanks, he ain't got a bad cross in him. Saying that, Cedric, his cross is not too bad, but I don't know. I don't think he's effective enough on the attack, and that's probably the reason why he doesn't get used as much as Bellerin.
Yeah. So 2 for Bellerin. The next one is the left back Tierney.
Yeah, he had a dreadful one as well, didn't he?
Again, yeah.
Yeah, it was. Tierney, man, I really like Tierney as well. I'm not even going to put much blame on Tierney because at the end of the day, we brought Tierney to a club that was in shambles, and the energy surrounding the club is inevitably going to cause Tierney to lack confidence, to lose the right mentality. And that's what he's done. I said it when Tierney come. I said, if Tierney fails, and the same with Gabriel, if he fails, it's because Arsenal failed them. You know, the way we're playing at the moment, these guys are withstanding so much pressure. That word again, inevitably, they're gonna flop. You know, they're gonna flop. And Tierney, a prime example yesterday, how he was flopping because we just didn't have control of the game. We was lost. We had no focus. We lacked concentration as an overall team. And people like Tierney are affected by that. Do you know what I mean? And now people are underestimating him. People are unsure on whether he's a good player or not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, Kieran Tierney is a great player, but yesterday we have to be real. He was dead. He was getting twisted and turned up and down on that side by Traore, and I have to probably give him the same as Bellerin. I give him a 2.
Do you think? What do you think his best position is? Left wing back, left back, or the third centre back?
No, he has to play at left back or left wing back. Again, it just depends. It has to depend on who is playing in front of him. As well as who's playing next to him, you know, because it's difficult, man. I think in the right team, Kieran Tierney is deployed best on the left back
Yeah.
flank. Pushing up and down on those flanks, getting those crosses in. He's got a good cross. It's just that there's just no intelligence in front of him whereby it makes it easier for him to create and make those intelligent runs. You know those runs that you see Ashley Cole making back in the day? Because Kieran Tierney, I mean, if we add Arsene Wenger at this club with this team, Kieran Tierney would be fucking Ashley Cole. I'm telling you, pardon my language. You know, after a year or two with Kieran Tierney, look what he's done with Clichy. You know, even at Kieran, even had players like Kieran Gibbs playing at a decent level at a point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think
Traore, Armand Traore plays.
Yeah, like exactly. Even him. There's so many different left backs that Arsene Wenger, went through, but we can see it in Kieran Tierney that he's got that type of potential. Do you know what I mean? He can get forward. He can help with the attacking final third, but it's just about the intelligence that he has around him, man.
I think his crossing is very, very good, but you never even give him that many opportunities. And to be fair to him, anyone coming up against Traore, it's going to be hard. So I'm going to give him something like maybe a 3 or something like that. What about Gabriel? A positive from yesterday?
Yeah, Gabriel, I think he was probably the only good player out of the whole lot. Do you know what I mean? He got the goal. There were some, iffy moments, but there was iffy moments for every single one of those players. But Gabriel seemed like the only one that was really confident, composed, kind of knew what he needed. He had to get. He kind of knew what his job was to do, and that was to obviously, break up that play and back the defense. And he's done that. He done that, in my opinion. And again, it's going to be difficult for him with the way we're playing because all we're doing is withstanding a lot of attacking pressure. That's all we're doing most of the games. And then when we are taking when we are getting chances, we're not taking them. So for Gabriel, it's depressing, man. Like you said earlier, it's depressing. But Gabriel, for me, yesterday was probably our best player. I'll give him a 6. I'll give him a 6. No, I'll give him a 7, man. He got a goal, innit? I'll give him a 7. Yeah, man. He got that goal. Yeah.
I'd agree. The second one, I'd given him a 7 because he's the only shining light yesterday, and especially after seeing that collision between Luis and Jimenez going straight for that header a couple of minutes later, without any fear, putting himself there, I'd give him a 7. The next one is Luis. Do you think Luis should have been on the pitch after that injury?
No way. I mean, that's another poor decision by Mikel Arteta. You know what I reckon that was? I reckon that was David Luiz putting pressure on Mikel, basically telling them I'm not coming off. Not in a rude way, but I truly believe that Mikel Arteta doesn't have that much authority. Guys, that he's lost. Trust me, I'm telling you now. David Luiz definitely told him, you know what? I'm fine. Instead of Mikel Arteta taking control of the situation and saying, no, bro, you need to come off because this is the situation, blah, 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 and taking control. He just left David Luiz to tell him what he was doing, and David Luiz done what he was doing. Do you know what I mean? Because if that was Alex Ferguson, if that was any of these big boy managers, for example, they would have never allowed my man to play, especially when blood's still pouring out of your head. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, man.
So what did you give Luis for those 45 minutes?
I'll give him a 5. He was putting work in. It wasn't bad.
There's this comment from Nathaniel saying Luis took a free kick. Now that's another thing, Max. Every time Luis takes a free kick, it goes over the bar, and he's still on free kicks. He has not scored a free kick in 5 years. Willian takes free kicks, all of them over the bar. So Bias took one in the Europa League the other day, way off target. What's the matter with that?
I don't really know what's going on here. We ain't really got a real set piece taker. None of them on that team. I mean, obviously Pepe is probably the best one. Free kicks, corners, but I don't know, man. It's something they're clearly not working on in training.
I mean, I've seen Luis scoring free kicks for Chelsea. Willian scored one against Tottenham last season, just a few months ago. Aubameyang has scored one for us against, I think it was Aston Villa last season. Lacazette scored one against Napoli. Pepe scored those 2 in one game. So we know they can score. So Nelson has scored a few in the under-23. So I just don't know what's going on there. It would be
cool to look at how many free kicks we've scored since Mikel Arteta has taken over the club. Can you remember any
think so.
free kicks that we've scored since Mikel Arteta has taken over the club?
None, probably
There we
none.
go. There we go.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. And it's not just that. Even the set pieces and the corner will just come back to that. So Luis gets a 5.
We're crap at set pieces, man.
Yeah. Midfield now, Granit Xhaka, and now since Partey is not going to be out for a few weeks, this is going to be our midfield. So Xhaka, what do you give him? Because he was so slow yesterday.
He was so slow. He was so poor. He was giving passes away. Xhaka, man. You know what? Xhaka's Xhaka. You can't even really get disappointed with Xhaka because you should know what to expect with Xhaka. And we've had Xhaka since 2016 now, 4 years. You know, he's disrespected the club. He's rarely put in a good performance. You know, we can say that he looked a bit better under Mikel Arteta when Mikel Arteta first come, but he's not the guy. He's not fit for this league. It's clear as day. You don't spend 4 years in this league and not be able to put in a shift. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, for yesterday's performance, I'm going to give Xhaka a 2 as well. Just give him a straight up 2.
It scares me that he's going to be. It scares me that he's going to be in our midfield during this tough period, this whole December period where we are facing Everton, Tottenham, Chelsea. So I don't know.
Yeah.
How about his partner, Ceballos? If I'm not wrong, I know you don't really like Ceballos that much. What would you give Ceballos?
Yeah, I don't really like Ceballos. I mean, Ceballos, I'm probably going to give him around about the same, man. I didn't see much of him passes. He's consistently one of those guys that always give the ball away. He's always, for me, I don't know if anyone else notices it, but he does give the ball away a lot. Turns around, and I know he's trying to look up, and it's not even his fault sometimes. I look at Dani Ceballos and I can understand what he's trying to do. I look at what he's trying to do in the pitch, and I understand it. But unfortunately for him, he just doesn't have the players that understand it. They don't make the right runs. They don't make the right movements, and it makes it difficult for him. And then he ends up turning around in circles and circles for about 5 minutes before he releases it to someone that's right next to him. Do you know what I mean? But yesterday, Ceballos was dead. Didn't offer us anything. I'm giving him a 2, man, as well.
What's his strongest position? Is it as a number 10? Is it alongside Xhaka or El Neni in the middle? What's his strongest position?
His strongest position for me is that deep lying playmaker. So, I mean, if he's got the right players around him, I can see Dani Ceballos being a good player. But he needs. Look, if we take ourselves back to when he was playing with Mesut Ozil prior to lockdown, the link-up play was on point. The way that him and Ozil were connecting, the way he was finding Ozil, and the way he was allowing Ozil, and it was freeing up Ozil. It was freeing up space for Ozil to move forward with that ball. Unfortunately, you know, we've got players that don't have the intelligence to make the runs, those diagonal runs, those runs from deep. Do you know what I mean? They just don't have it. So it made it difficult. If you see the link-up play between Ceballos and Ozil, I think it was brilliant. We controlled and dictated the game. Every single one of those games we controlled and dictated, if you look at the possession, and you know that's what Ceballos needs. He needs someone with that intelligence in front of him, and he needs someone that's got the solidity like Thomas Partey next to him. With that midfield, I think we've got the midfield there. If we had Ozil in the team and these guys were confident, Ozil, Thomas Partey, and Ceballos, I think that three could actually work. That is, they're different. They offer all different types of attributes, and I think all three of them together will keep the midfield ticking, allowing us to, you know, exploit the flanks and all that type of palaver. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. So I was watching like 2 games from back in the days, and as much as the Arsenal fans hate these guys, first of all, when we had Walcott, Van Persie, Adebayo, Nasri, the play used to be very, very fluid, like one pass, throw pass to Walcott, cross for Van Persie, and we score a goal. Like every single time we'd create more than 20 chances per game. And also recently with Sanchez, Cazorla, Ozil, we'd create chance after chance after chance. The only problem then was our defense. So I don't know. As I said, if we could get Wenger to sort out our attack and Arteta to be defensive and Wenger to take charge of the home games and Arteta for the away games, would be very, very fast. So
it'll be crazy. That's what it is. It's about, at the end of the day, Glenn, it's about the mentality that you're giving the players. You know, and for me, Arteta, in the 12 months, these 12 months now, you might as well say, you know, because he come in December, in the 11 and a bit months that he's actually been here, he hasn't given them the mentality. The reason they're playing the way they're playing in this new season is because they have lost faith in what has been said to them. Because come on, man, Arteta's had enough time to sell him a dream, make promises that are, just been thrown out the window. And that's exactly what's happened. I think from when Arteta's taken over until lockdown, he's had a different attitude, a different approach until what he's got now. He's been hit with reality check 1, reality check 2, reality check 3, reality check 4, and he's kind of realized, look, I don't have no control over this. Like he promised, like even with the situation with Ozil, like prior to lockdown, he played in all the games, and then after lockdown, he never played again. Yeah. Now I believe in that time, Arteta would have been pressured and told to drop Ozil. Now the reason we can guarantee that is because when we come into lockdown, we played a 3-4-3 and we never look back. Mikel Arteta thought of a formation that could work based on the players that he had without Mesut Ozil, right? So that's how you know that was a fucking agenda, right? And then what I believe Arteta's done with Ozil being buddies is saying, look, this is the crack, this is the situation. Don't worry, give it a couple of weeks or a couple of months, we'll sort it out. We'll have it sorted out, and then by next season you'll be back in the fold again. However, come the new season, or coming up to the new season, Mikel Arteta again has been hit with reality check 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's been told what the crack is, and now he's realized, shit, what I've said to these players or what I've personally said to these players is not going to happen. And I think since then, he's slowly kind of taken himself away from these players personally, and he's not as personal as he was with them. Do you know what I mean? And he's trying to be this type of manager guy now. Do you know what I mean? It's not working because now these players are feeling some type of way about you. Your approach initially was different, and now you're chopping and changing. Do you understand? Yeah. And I think leading up to obviously the players being registered, nobody knew that Mesut Ozil wasn't being registered. Mikel Arteta obviously did, but he didn't tell Mesut Ozil until after the registration had already happened. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that has also had its effect on for a reason why the players are playing the way they are today. Because it's a bunch of lies, and they haven't been transparent with the players, and they've been lying to all of us, to be honest. Now go on, move on to the next player.
Yeah, Sabas gets a 2 for you, right?
Yeah, man, give him a 2, man.
The next one is Willock. What did you give Willock? Do you think it's Premier League ready, or should you just still play in the Carabao Cup?
Yeah, Willock shouldn't even be at Arsenal, full stop. The only reason we're keeping our it's the real talk. The only reason we've got the English players that we've got at the moment is because of the registration rules. Now, because of the registration rules, we need to have a certain amount of English players in the team. And when we play our Premier League games, we need to have a certain amount of English players on the bench or in the starting 11. So without Joe Willock and that, we wouldn't be able to register a squad. We wouldn't be able to put a team out there. We'll be breaking the rules and getting fined and all of that. So they're the only reason we've got these players here. Joe Willock, in my opinion, needs to go and play in League One. That's the level he's at. If he was in League One, he'll probably be one of the best players in the league. Do you understand? His brothers, go and check out his brothers. His brothers are 2 years older than him. They all play in similar positions. They all played together growing up. They're all at Arsenal. One of them had a big break and went to Benfica because they thought he was someone special, but he wasn't. And now they're both playing in the Championship or League One, and they're bang on the same level as Joe Willock. So that's how we can clearly know Joe Willock is meant to be there. He hasn't got a different level of intelligence than his brothers. They're all exactly the same football players. They've all been groomed the same. They've all been brought up the same. They've all been coached the same. And Joe Willock, he's not an elite player. Will never will be. I think the most that Joe Willock will get is playing for. He'll probably get into a Premier League, play for an avoid relegation team. They get relegated, go down to the Championship. They might get promoted again. Then they get relegated again. You're going through that back and forth of being relegated, being promoted, being relegated. You might stay in the Championship for 2-3 years. Then you get promoted again. Joe Willock's a part of that type of team. That's the type of team Joe Willock's a part of. Do you know what I mean?
So you think he's one of the worst players from yesterday?
Say that again?
Do you think he was that bad yesterday? Or he was better than some of the players?
There was one moment where he did make a good move and a great pass, and I thought that is if you can do that all the time, Joe, I would love you. But there was a move where he kind of took it around the player and he just kind of flicked it through 2 players and actually got to whoever the player was. And I thought, that's a great move. That's a great move. It was early on. I think it was in the first half. Yeah, but apart from that, he's just giving the ball away. He's indecisive. He's like an animal at the lights. You know when a car comes and the animal gets stuck and freezes in front of your lights, and you end up licking the animal down. And that's how he is. A player comes running at him and he gets stuck and he freezes and he doesn't know what to do with the ball and he doesn't know when to release it and he falls over and then he just he doesn't have the intelligence whatsoever to play at this level of football. If I am to be real, man. And yesterday I'll give him a little better than Bellerin, and I'll give him a 3.
Clearly, Wax is not feeling Willock, but maybe you could feel the next youngster, Saka. As I said earlier, I mean, he missed a very good chance. I remember against United, he missed a very open header. Against Leeds last week, one-on-one chance, he missed it. Against City, one-on-one chance.
There you go. So what that is, right? That shows you that he isn't on the levels of these qualified players for his age. I know he's only 19, but we have to be real. When you're quality, you put those chances away. Like you said, you've just brought up 4 chances in a short space of time that he flapped. Now, what that shows me is a lack of composure, lack of concentration, and he's not making the right decisions. Now, for a person that everyone's raving about, saying he's the best at Arsenal, this, that, the other, I mean, that's not great. That is not great. And that type of mental attribute is championship level. It's championship level. We have to be real. And that's no disrespect to Saka, because I like him. I see glimpses of quality from Saka that shows me, okay, he can be a great player if he's playing around the right players. But if we are to be realistic with Saka's current level, he's probably, if he was in the championship, he'll be one of the best players in the championship. He's like Eze, Eze that's going to direct Crystal Palace. That's the level that's the levels. Eze is not taking Arsenal or anyone to no title. He's not going to take you to an effort. He's not going to take you to do you understand? They're good players, and by the time they're 24, 25, they could go on a bigger platform and play for bigger clubs. But and that's the level Saka's really at. He would struggle.
We're putting too much pressure.
Yeah, I'm not even. You see this pressure. I'm not even putting pressure on Saka. This is me being realistic with the level of expectations of everybody else, because everybody else has got a certain expectation on Saka. Now, I understand that Saka is an 18, 19-year-old kid. I know what level he's at. I'm not gonna over-exaggerate how good of a player this guy really is. Yeah. Just like a lot of these Arsenal fans are. But if I am to base my answer on the level of expectations that every other Arsenal fan have for Saka, that's the answer. He's a champ. He'll be a top player in the championship. And that's about it for now. Not to say he's not going to grow, but he's 19. Yeah. So based on his current level, he's a top player for championship teams.
It's funny that he's actually our best player right now, right?
There you go. There you go. So, and I'm not even underestimating him. He's a great player, man. Great guy as well.
Awesome. What about the next one, William? I remember you were one of them, and myself also, like when William was signing, making videos about him joining Arsenal. Some were not excited about it, some were. So has he lived up to the expectation? Yes, yesterday he played a bit well, but in general, the 60 minutes he was on the pitch.
I'm disappointed with how Willian has just been brought into this team as like some sort of indispensable player. Because for me, even if you go back to when I was actually happy and I understood the reasons for why we were bringing Willian in, I wasn't seeing Willian as a guy that's coming in to replace Pepe or being an indispensable player that takes this team to the top. Willian, for me, was an influential player on and off the pitch, but he's a sub guy. He's a guy that you bring on for the last 20 minutes to give you guys a bit of impact coming off the bench. Do you understand? Yeah. And that was my level of expectations for Willian. And I didn't expect fireworks. He had a good first game, but what's happened with Willian now is the pressure's got to him, and we're putting so much pressure on him. Not only the fans, but I'm talking about Mikel Arteta, not the fans. Mikel Arteta's putting so much pressure on him to be that guy. When he probably knows he's not that guy. He's flipping 32 years old, man. He wants to. Do you know what I mean? No matter how much he's passionate and wants to give, you know, he just can't. He just can't. And I think it's the pressure is, lacking, is outweighing his confidence, basically. That's what it's definitely doing. Now we're seeing a poor Willian. We're seeing and another thing is as well with these players, a reason for why I don't think they're performing well is because they don't understand what they're meant to be doing. I don't think they understand the plan because Mikel Arteta fully hasn't grasped the plan. Do you know what I mean? He fully doesn't understand it. And I think he's just like a lot of people are saying, he's learning on the job. He's learning as he goes along. That's why we're playing pragmatic football, because he basically watches a game and he basically, do you know what I mean? He's working that way because he's learning. He's learning. Maybe next season could be different, but we don't have until next season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what did you give him for yesterday? He got an assist.
Willian, he was taken off. What was he taken off for? Who come off? Who come on? Reece Nelson. Did Reece Nelson make any difference? Don't know, but Willian.
The corners now. Those two people, the corners alongside Pepe. Every single time they take a corner, it hits the first one. All three of them. I don't understand why, but all three of them take very, very poor corners. Yesterday, there's a couple of corners they took short. The one we scored from, and the one that Saka hit across, and I think holding Messi to something. So maybe we need to be using those short corners because I don't know. Those long corners from those players, poor.
Absolutely poor. Absolutely poor. Willian, I'll give Willian, because he got these, I'll give him a 5, man. I was going to give him a straight 5. If he would have spent more time on the pitch, then his rating could have been higher. I can't really remember Willian doing anything wrong. In fact, in the first half, Willian did look like he had some life in him. He did look like he wanted to try and make things happen. There were some good little passes through to players that were making little tiny runs and stuff. I think Willian was playing all right. Got the assist. I'll give him a 5 though.
5 for Willian. Okay, I think I'd give him a 6 because he was a bit better than what we've seen from the last few games. So Willian gets a 6 for me. Then Aubameyang works. Where do we start from? Because with him, as people were crying during the international break that they want him as a striker, and I said that I don't think it even matters because of our style of play. We can actually have Messi there, and we'll still not have any shot on target. Is it his fault? Does he look disinterested as people are saying, or is it just like nothing is going to him?
Look, I can understand for why Aubameyang was playing as a striker for Dortmund. Yeah, I can understand for why Aubameyang's playing as a left winger for Arsenal, and it's because of the personnel that we have on the team. You know, if you go and look at Dortmund had strong wingers, direct, running, unpredictable wingers that can always get the ball into the box. Then Bellerin, you had so many different players. So that it made it more easier for Aubameyang to just stand there, get the ball to his feet in the 8-yard box or 6-yard box, sorry, and pull it in. Do you know what I mean? And that's the reason why he played as that role for Dortmund. And it was easier for him. He got more goals that way because of the wingers and the creative midfielders. But then at Arsenal, it's a bit different because we don't have those wingers. So if we're going to be playing Aubameyang in the middle, who's going to be really feeding the ball, especially when you don't have a player like Mesut Ozil behind him? So that makes it more difficult. And I think even Arsene Wenger knew that. That's the reason why when Arsene Wenger brought him, he played him straight on the left because he wanted to utilize him for the speed and his diagonal runs into the box, so that could get balls in, and then it worked. It actually worked, and it has been working. It's always been working for Aubameyang. Us changing Aubameyang to a CF now is actually destroying his confidence because he hasn't been in that position for Arsenal for a minute. And then we've got no one feeding him balls, no one that can set the ball over the top. It's like, what do you expect me to do? And we know like Aubameyang's one of those players that he's not going to be grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck and trying to make things happen for himself. He ain't going to be an Henry, run deep, try and get the ball and make things happen when worse comes to worse. No, he's just going to wait. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Right? That's it. So, I mean, I feel sorry for Aubameyang in a way, but then, sometimes because of the way people go on about Aubameyang, it makes me feel like, well, okay, well, if he's that guy, why is he not doing it? So then I don't feel sorry for him when he doesn't. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But for yesterday, man, he was non-existent. As a captain, he's not captain. He's not captain. It's just, man, Arsenal was
He's not a I've always thought that maybe put him as the captain because of the way he leads by example on the pitch, but not because of his leadership. But I look at Connor Cody yesterday, the way he was organizing everything. Like when they got the injury, he was the first one there. He was the one telling the players, keep your head up, let's keep going. But for us, Aubameyang is I'd say is a nice guy. He's not a guy who'd even come and shout at you. I don't think so.
Yeah, he's the banter guy. He's one of the guys that will have a laugh and joke. Do you know what I mean? He's not. He's not a discipline. He doesn't discipline anyone. You know, in his household, it's probably his wife that wears the trousers. Do you know what I mean? Come on, you can tell. I know. Obviously, we all follow Pierre on Instagram. And most of the time, my man's just dancing in the kitchen and having vibes. He doesn't really look like he's, do you know what I mean? So that's the type of personality he's got. And on the pitch, we can clearly see that he's not putting up his socks. He's not screaming at anyone. He's not really telling people what, like, even at the end of the game yesterday, he should have been the person talking to the reporters, telling them why we played so bad. Yeah. You know? Because you remember, man, if we played bad back in the day, you might have Henry. He will go out there and he will have a say if we lose 2-1, 3-1. You know, you'll have Patrick Vieira. They will go out there as the captain and talk. But Aubameyang, it seems like he's hiding because he's not captain material. He doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know how to take responsibility. He doesn't know how to be accountable. He doesn't know how to set the right example like a real leader does. And for me, he was given that armband. He was given the armband based on the fact that Arsenal thought he was going to leave and they wanted to try and keep him. That was it.
Hi, Tak. Hi, Liam. Hi, RK, Sweetie, Nathaniel, Cookie, Liam, Lewis, and Alex. I see Alex says Aubameyang not my captain. So let me ask you, Wax, would you go as far as telling Aubameyang, you know what? Yes, you're a best player, but I think this captaincy is like taking away from you. So just concentrate on the play. Let's remove the captaincy from me and give someone else. Would you actually do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult for Arteta to do that now. But that, I think, for me, the captain's armband is weighing his arm down. You know, he can't hold it. He can't hold it. It's too much pressure. But you know, Arsenal, they've put themselves in a predicament where it's going to be very, very difficult if they want to go and find a captain or bring in a captain, because we don't have any captains apart from maybe David Luiz. You know, who else would I give the captain's armband to? Like, no one. There's no one I could trust. Like who? You know, you would think
Xhaka. You would think Xhaka, but he's not good enough on the pitch.
He's not good enough on the pitch. You know, and you're right. Xhaka's got the right characteristics to be a leader and kind of to demand. Xhaka will probably be a great manager. You know, he might go on to be a strict manager in the next 10 to 15 years. You never know, but. You know, for me, man, it'll be difficult to really strip Aubameyang off the captain's armband. He'll probably have to wait till next season, do it at the end of the season, beginning of the new season. I just don't know.
How about Tini?
Yeah, Tini would be another person that I would see as a potential candidate for the armband. He seems. You know, yeah, Tierney definitely. I've actually said that in the past. You know, he's determined, motivated, hungry, and he does show many leadership skills on the pitch. We see him screaming at players. We see him trying to organize certain players as well. And that's what it is. It's so weird that we've brought Kieran Tierney, and he's been here less than 24 months. And you know, we're already talking about him being our captain. Do you know what I mean?
Like,
come on, we should have had captains after captains coming through the ranks, or from. You know, this shouldn't have been a problem for us not having a true leader at an elite club like Arsenal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, awesome. So, what did you give Aubameyang so we can go through the bench quickly?
I'll give him a 3 as well, man. Poor.
Yeah. Now I'm afraid that I'm expecting in the next game Arteta to just say, you know what, I'm going back to my original plan and I'm taking Aubameyang to the left. Unfortunately, that could be the second time and the last time we're seeing Aubameyang as a striker as of now. So I won't be surprised if he takes him back to the left, because clearly it hasn't worked anyway. Holding for the 45 minutes he was on, was he better than Luiz?
No, he wasn't better than Luiz. No, definitely not. He was poor, man. Holding. I like Holding. I've always said I like Holding as well, man. But I just don't think this is, he's not someone that's going to be able to fight, put his neck on the line, and be that defender that we need him to be honest, man. I think, it is. It's the same with a lot of the players. They just lack in concentration. They lack in composure, and that's it. For me, Rob Holding's one of those players, man. Yesterday, I'll give him a 3. I'll give him a 3 for yesterday.
I can't argue that. Nelson, for the few minutes he was on.
Nelson, I'll give Nelson. Didn't really do much, but didn't really do anything wrong. I would say I'll give him a 5, bang average 5, man.
Lacazette wasn't on for too long, but standard 5. Would you start him in the next game?
Yeah. I would just keep Lacazette's our top goal scorer. Surprisingly, I would start him, man. I think Lacazette, based on what we saw yesterday, Lacazette probably adds more to our starting 11 than we actually think.
Unfortunately,
we need that work rate. I know he loses a lot, he misses a lot of chances and that, but we need that work rate, man.
Okay, and the last one, Mikel Arteta. What does he need to do? Was it his fault?
Yeah, he has to take full responsibility, man. As the manager, you always got to take full responsibility for these results, whether they're good, bad. You have to take responsibility. Negative football, negative state of mind. He's running out of ideas. He doesn't actually know what he wants his players to be doing. I don't think they actually know what they need to be doing. They're totally lost. And we saw that yesterday, man. If it wasn't for Gabriel, But anyway, for Arteta, I'm going to give Arteta. I'll give Arteta a 1. I'll give him Arteta a 1.
Do you think with Guardiola would do better with these exact same players, or a Klopp or someone like that?
Everyone would. I'm telling you now, a lot of people would do much better with these crop of players. The only reason we have to say that Arteta's not is because he doesn't know who he is yet. Frank Lampard just didn't go and manage Chelsea straight away. What Frank Lampard had to do is he had to go and manage Derby for a season, but that whole season enabled him to know what type of style of play he wanted to adopt when he is a manager, what type of roles he wants his players to play. Do you know, it gives him a clearer understanding of what he could actually do for a football club. And Mikel Arteta, unfortunately, hasn't had that time. If Arsenal are willing to give him that time, then that could eventually result in us getting relegated. I'm telling you, that's where it could result to if we continue the way we're playing at the moment. But Mikel Arteta, he should have went to another team first. This is what I reckon should have done, and this is where I reckon Arsenal went wrong. When Arsene Wenger knew he was leaving, he should have brought Mikel Arteta in as an assistant manager. They should have partnered up as an assistant together for at least a year, maybe 18 months before Arsene Wenger would have left. And then I reckon Arteta would have been ready to take on the job. Because I reckon that was the plan. Because obviously it didn't happen as being the assistant manager, but when Arsene Wenger left, they approached Mikel Arteta straight away. And that approach was based on recommendations made by Arsene Wenger. Because Arsene Wenger, obviously, he had a plan. He knew when he was going to leave. And I think he encouraged Mikel Arteta to go and do his coaching and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was something that it was a transition that Arsene Wenger was trying to make happen smoothly, but it didn't go that way based on the fact that Mikel Arteta just wasn't ready to come in and take over the problems. And that's why we ended up getting Unai Emery. And Unai Emery done whatever he'd done, and then they reached out to Mikel Arteta after that.
Maybe they didn't want to take a gamble on Arteta, and Guardiola was the only one who wanted to take a gamble on him. So I just don't understand. The reason why I don't want Arteta to be sacked right now is because clearly we've seen the board not go for Ancelotti or Allegri, people like that, and went for Arteta, who's inexperienced. So even if we sack Arteta right now, will they really go for an Ancelotti, Allegri? I don't think so. They'll bring someone worse than Arteta in terms of experience, and then we'll have to start all over again. They'll come and say, you know what, I don't like Partey, I don't like Gabriel, the new manager, and bring his own players, and then all of a sudden it's another mess. That's why, because I don't trust the board to bring in someone, if we were 100% sure that Allegri would come, if Pochettino would come, then maybe we'd get a chance. And maybe Arteta can have another role in the team, that's fine. But will they really bring someone who's more experienced than Arteta? I don't think so. Arsenal are so stingy in terms of money, they won't pay up that money and all that. So Arteta gets a 1 for you.
It is based on the money. It's all based on, because you have to bear in mind, if I approach you, it's about what vision you have as a manager and what vision we have as a football club going forward. You know, if those visions align, then cool, let's make things happen. But one thing you know that Arsenal are not willing to do right now is pump money into this club. So therefore, that makes it difficult for us to get an elite manager.
Yeah.
Literally. I guess we'll finish there, yeah?
Awesome. Yeah, we'll finish there. So, man of the match? Anyone was the man of the match?
Man of the match.
No one?
For us, I'll say Gabriel was our man of the match. And for the overall game, we have to give
Neto.
it to Pedro Neto, man. He's an incredible player, man. Incredible.
Thank you very much, Wax, for coming on. Where can they follow you? Give your channel a shout out.
Yeah, man. Wax Online. You can go and follow me on there, on Twitter. All social media handles is Wax Online. So yeah, man.
By the way, guys, Wax channel is the first one of the first channel I went to, like when I started YouTube. Like was like back in February or something, like before lockdown and everything. So thank you very much for coming on. Yeah. So Arsenal against Wolves, we lost 2-1. That was your player ratings. Disappointing. We have Tottenham next. We have Rapid Vienna next. Let's see how we're doing that. Thank you for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys later.